served 3 tours in Iraq.
What I went through in the Army, I basically shut everything down.
I have fear and anger.
Tony, Maggie, Aaron. 3 soldiers, 3 very different stories. What they all have in common, though, is PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder.
Most people in my situation either end up in prison or dead.
An expansive mind.
So how do you heal from emotional and physical pain? Actor Tom Skerritt believes it can happen through storytelling.
Storytelling, or being able to express yourself in words, or painting perhaps, if that's it, or music, is a very, very significant way of channeling this energy in a positive way. So ultimately, what we get to is self-realization.
2 years ago, Skerritt launched the Red Badge Project at Joint Base Lewis McChord.
In telling those stories, we find true heroism, right? Because it's not always about doing the perfect thing, the right thing.
Every time you tell a story, there are things you leave out. Every time you write a story, you add a little bit more in. Gives you a chance. Gives you a chance not to lie.
And we're experiencing the truth shall make you free.
It's a story that we've all told, right? When things go really wrong.
Over the course of 3 weeks, a skilled group of instructors teach the mechanics of storytelling. The vets can then write a memoir, music, poetry, or prose.
Inspired by the humanity within.
Instructors use movement and humor to chisel away at self-consciousness.
First thing we like to do is get them laughing. This is not an Army thing.
What did one snowman say to the other?
Improv and silliness help build trust. Even so, no one is ever required to share their story.
You don't have to show it to anybody. You can write whatever you want. That's the one thing about writing. It's yours and yours alone.
My name's Tony Wingfield. I'm a retired Army major, and I served 3 tours in Iraq. I'm not traumatized like a guy who's on the front lines. My form of PTSD came from my childhood. From the ages of 6 to 11, I went through what was called sadistic torture. Beatings were routine. I became suicidal by the time I was 9.
Tony Wingfield just retired after 21 years of service. His deployments were a volatile addition to childhood trauma. Red Badge helped.
For me, it hit on many levels in helping me to process some of my own memories, to hear about other soldiers' stories and the things that they've gone through in life. I'm learning from these guys, from the instructors, what the power of storytelling is. My psychiatrist told me, he's like, just write an autobiography and retire.
It has helped. It was probably about a year before I actually wrote something for the class.
Army Specialist Maggie Chartel left the service in 2002. Her PTSD is related to sexual assault.
Something like 90% of sexual assaults in the military are never reported.
Maggie's therapist referred her to the Red Badge Project. It was a long time before she could finally turn out several short stories.
Being able to work through a story and look at it analytically like I'm not actually the character in that story, that makes it easier for me to process on an emotional level.
I'm Aaron Breitbarth, and I'm a specialist in the United States Army.
Aaron's been in for 6 years. He recently suffered a severe injury during training.
It's so hard to share the most private moments of your life, the things that have hit you the hardest.
Aaron has lost many fellow soldiers, and PTSD nearly took him as well. Writing, finding his voice, discovering his worth changed everything.
But I know when I'm in the Red Badge Project, when I'm with the instructors, I can share so many horrible, horrible things that have happened to me. So many just difficult things that are unique to me and unique to only service members. Just know that I'm not a monster. I'm not a freak. I don't need to hide it. It's the best thing that I've done for myself. And I've done so much physical therapy, I've done so much counseling, I've done inpatient treatment. I've tried to hurt myself as bad as possible to help myself, which was a terrible decision. And the Red Badge Project is the best thing I've done for myself.
That doesn't cure you, makes you stronger. Let's learn how to use it. Let's tell our stories. Let's find out who we are through the stories we write. That's pretty rewarding. Once you see they've got that. Once somebody comes into class and comes up to you and says, after 3 weeks, says, "Is this what it feels to be happy? I've never felt this before." Those moments, to have those moments, whoa, takes your breath away.